You will not believe how hard it was to fit all of these here. You're gonna have to excuse my plant. It's just in the way. I tried moving it, but it's still very much in the way. I can't believe it's already February. Hi. Hello. Welcome back to my witch obsession. And in today's pick a card reading, we will be asking, who are you going to marry? Now, before I explain any further, if you are already married, then you can just watch this to see if it matches up with the person that you've married. And if that doesn't resonate, then there's probably just not a message for you because you're married, you know what I'm saying? But also, I was originally going to do who is your soulmate, but I feel like who will you marry just sounded a little bit more entertaining. But if you would like that reading, do tell, and I will do it because I am obsessed with all of you and I will do anything for you to make you happy. But okay, now that that's out of the way, and if you're already in a relationship, same thing as the person getting married. If you are open-minded, perhaps the person you're with isn't the person you're going to marry. But if that thought makes you uncomfortable, or that concept, do not take that message because it's not for you. And you don't deserve messages that make you uncomfortable. If you get it, you get it. If you don't, you need to get it because I don't want you to be sitting here panicking. But yes. We have 4 piles here. Sorry, my mind just went blank. We have 4 piles here. We have pile 1 with the Moonchild Tarot, pile 2 with the Ember and Aura Tarot, pile 3 with the Rainbow Heart Tarot, pile 4 with the Apparition Tarot. Now, I've possessed these decks for a while, but I just never used them in a reading for some reason. But today they're here. But anyways, if you like my energy, if you like my reading style, do like, comment, and subscribe. We love you. I don't know what else to say. It's free. That's what other YouTubers say. But yeah. And timestamps will be in the description box just to be transparent with you. Not transparent, but just get that out of the way because, I don't know, maybe you didn't know that they would be there. But yeah. That's all I have for you. So I will see you at your pile. But if you want to listen to me ramble for an extra minute or two, hi. Oh my gosh, you guys. So I finally finished this book. Let me get it. It's on my bookshelf. So it's a romance novel because I'm that person. It's called Take a Hint by Danny Brown. Okay. If you are interested in romance novels, this is definitely, and you like it when it's fast paced because these 2 characters, they have instant chemistry and it's very inclusive, it's 2 people of color. And now listen, I don't have a vendetta against white people or nothing, but I'm just saying that the romance as a whole, the genre is very white dominated. So I'm very pleased to see interracial couples. Anyways, I'm about to start this other book called It Started with the Dog by Julia London. Once again, if you like romance, I highly recommend Julia London. She's literally amazing. I read her other book called You Lucky Dog, and I was literally in a rut for 2 weeks after I finished it because I was dang y'all, this book was so fire, I'm upset it's over. But yeah, it takes me kind of a while to read now because I don't have a reading chair or something because my living situation, but yeah. Anyways, I was gonna say something else, but I can't remember. My landlord called me this morning and he was like, everything's going up, and I'm like, child, we're in California. What do you think is, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. California's kind of a mess right now, and also every time I look at California on the maps, isn't it crazy how in LA the houses are literally 1 inch apart? You can literally look into your neighbor's house from your own window. It's just that's not normal. Anyway, that's all I have to say. That was off tangent. Yeah. See you at your reading. Thank you for listening. I really appreciate those who like listening to these because it's I'm literally just mindlessly rambling, but I do be excited to tell y'all about some of these things. I'm like, I can't wait to tell my friends on YouTube, y'all. But anyways, I'll see you at your reading. Hello, pile one. If you chose the Moonchild Tarot, this is going to be your reading for Who Will You Marry? And also, if you're watching this the day that I upload this, happy Valentine's Day. Or, you know, if you're not watching it, happy late Valentine's Day. Because this is going to be going up on Valentine's Day. But anyways, we have some oracle cards here before we get into the tarot. And let's just get right into it. For your oracle cards, we have Goddess of the Moon, Lattice of the Soul, and Tarantula. Right off the bat, pile one, I want to say that there are heavy spiritual themes here. And whether or not this person is spiritual, it definitely seems as if though they're going to be somebody who's very emotional and somebody who kind of keeps to themselves. Because with the Tarantula card, when I think of tarantulas, I think of how they are unconventional compared to other arachnids or other eight-legged creatures. And in the sense that, you know, other spiders usually like build webs and, you know, they take their time with it. But tarantulas, they usually are more on the go, and if they must build like a nest, they usually, you know, dig in the ground, and, you know, if they create a web, it's like creating in the ground. Not gonna lie, like looking at this tarantula card is kind of freaking me out because I don't really like spiders, but I'm like thinking that there's one on the floor or something. But anyways, in saying that, I also feel like this person could also evoke strong emotions in people. I feel like people will either be fascinated by this person or they will really not like them, just as spiders are, you know, like it's either A, people literally keep like a pet tarantula and like read magazines on them, or they're like, girl, I will literally blowtorch one if I see one. There's two kinds of people apparently. But with the Goddess of the Moon and Lattice of the Soul, these are just like very spiritual cards, and I feel like this person, I feel like marriage will come upon them, and you like, I feel like you'll marry this person or meet this person, or if you've already met this person, you know, like take whatever context resonates. But I'm just gonna say, when you marry this person, it'll be a point in their life when they're kind of like decluttering their emotional space. And I feel like with the Goddess of the Moon card here and the Moonchild Tarot, it's just like we have a lot of moon themes here, you know? So this person could be like a Cancer, or they could have Cancer placements in their chart, or vice versa. You could have those placements. But regardless of whether or not that resonates, I feel like Cancer theme is very present here. I feel like this will be somebody that you marry when you move in with them, or when you get to know them at a more deeper emotional level. And I feel like they'll be very emotional, perhaps a little bit clammed up, and a little bit of a loner, if I will say. Because tarantulas are typically loners. They don't travel in packs or nothing. And I also just feel like they'll be very strong and very prolific, because that's what I'm getting here with this tarantula card here. But I also feel like they're going to be someone who kind of follows their intuition and seemingly navigates this world through their emotions and their feelings, as opposed to like their logic. I feel like they're going to be a heart over head person. And I'm sensing that if you're watching this, you know, the viewer, I feel like you are a little bit more of a logical person, or it's gonna go either, regardless of how you operate and how you navigate this world. What I'm trying to convey is that, like, I feel like you would want your partner to be a little bit more emotional. And when I say that, I feel like you want somebody very emotionally eloquent and somebody who's able to clearly communicate their feelings. And I very much feel like this is going to be that person. I feel like the person you marry will be very emotionally intelligent and somebody who is very good at recognizing their feelings and kind of like discerning their boundaries regarding their feelings. And I feel like their feelings for you are going to run very deep. But I also feel like they're going to be a little bit shy, a little bit, I don't know. It just seems as if though they're going to be reserved and somebody who likes to stick to themselves, because as far as I know, tarantulas only like going out at night. And I also think that this person is going to be very defensive of themselves, because I feel like all of these cards kind of signify somebody who is very good at decluttering their psyche and somebody who's very good at cleaning their emotions out, their heart out, and they're going to be somebody who is very self-defensive and also very protective. I feel like this person's going to be very protective over you, pile 1, as you get to know them. So yeah, let's get into the tarot and see what else, because that's all I'm really getting for the oracle cards, if I'm going to be honest. I also feel like this person's going to be a little bit mysterious and a little bit like quiet. I don't know, like I'm just sensing somebody who doesn't like to cause a lot of noise and kind of like a homebody. Either a homebody or someone who's constantly moving homes. It really does seem like one or two extremes. Alright. Who will pile 1 marry? Who will pile 1 marry? Alright. What do we got here? We have the Sun. Could be a Leo, but wow, that's actually really exciting. I feel like with the Sun card here, okay, this person is definitely going to be reserved, but I feel like it's kind of one of those people that, like, you know, like you meet them and they're just like kind of like not very talkative, but as you get to know them, they're literally so talkative, you know what I mean? Like the person who doesn't talk at all when you first meet them, but when you start talking to them more and you get close to them, you literally can't get them to like be quiet. I feel like with the Sun card here, they're gonna be a real like kick at parties, or like it just like this person just seems so magnetic and somebody who definitely yields a lot of power, and somebody who is just like very sure of themselves, and it's just like they're gonna be an interesting and kind of like an enigmatic figure, because it's like no matter how much you know about this person, they still seem to be hiding something, or not hiding something, but you know, keeping something to themselves. And with the Sun card here, this is definitely going to be someone you have a lot of fun with, pile 1. You could meet them at like a party or something like that, or like somewhere like, you know, like a club or something if you go to those kind of places. And it just seems as if though they're like a very fun person and they're very like boisterous, you know. I'm sensing someone like that just like yells all the time. It's just like someone who's like quiet, and then like they're with their friends and they're suddenly like screaming at the top of their lungs, and it's like, oh my god, my eardrums are literally about to explode. But with the Sun card here, I also feel like this person, you'll meet them, as I said, you're going to be meeting them after they've like done a lot of like spring cleaning with their feelings and their headspace. But I do feel like right now and a little bit after right now, like so like in the near future, I definitely do think that this person is like going through a lot of things right now, and I feel like they're still on the way to this culmination point of clearing out their emotions, you know what I mean? It's like right now they're still experiencing these feelings and they're still kind of like, how do I, not cluttering, but you know, like they're on the way, because like I said, when you meet them or when you marry them, they're going to be cleaning out their feelings. So right now it's just like that building up point to where they finally snap, and it's like, girl, like let me just clean all this out, let me get it on my head. And I very much feel like this person is somebody who likes to live very freely. I don't really know how to describe it. Like, I'm just like not picking up on that much in this reading. I feel like I'm gonna have to pull quite a few tarot cards, because like this person just seems so mysterious and somebody who just kind of keeps to themselves. I do want to say that they could have round features or like a very round face because of the Cancer theme here, and they could be somebody pretty tall and like pretty like built, because like I said, they could be very strong. But we also have Justice. We have Libra here. We've only pulled Major Arcana so far. I know I've only pulled 2 cards, but you know what I mean? I very much feel like this person, I think it's ironic that we're talking about marriage and the Justice card comes out, because, you know, it's about contracts and binding. But this is going to be somebody who is very fair. I'm also picking up on that they could be very serious about social causes or things like that. I feel like they're very big on injustice. And I do think that combined with the Sun card, they're going to have like not controversial, but very interesting point of views on society and like the government and things like that. I feel like they're gonna be a highly opinionated person, and I definitely do feel as if though they're the kind of person that's like they will happily discuss with people, but they don't tolerate people blatantly disagreeing with them without any argument, you know? I feel like this person just doesn't like people that don't have a spine, and they don't really like somebody who kind of follows the crowd, but also doesn't like somebody who's like overly rebellious, you know? I just feel like they very much want to talk to civilized human beings that sometimes share the same perspective, but other times can happily disagree with them and prove themselves and, you know, stand up, not in a fight, but like, you know, in a disagreement, you know, and like argue, but in a healthy and a professional or like mature way. And I also just feel like this is going to be somebody who is constantly seeking balance. And honestly, with the Libra theme here, they might be somebody who stirs the pot from time to time just to have something to balance, because I very much feel like that's a Libra thing, you know? Because I feel like Libras sometimes cause drama just to like have something to mediate. And I would know because I have so many Libra moon friends, and I feel like, you know, if there's no conflict, they'll like look for conflict, or like they will like actively seek it out, and it's like, girl. But I also feel like this is somebody who will be very fair to you, and somebody who is very much like give and take with you, you know? If you, I don't know, like if they, if you like borrow something from them, they'll be sure to give it back. Or, you know, like if you pay for dinner one time, then they will for sure pay the next time. And, you know, they'll make sure the bills match up, and they'll be very fair to you, and somebody who's very respectful to you. I feel like with the Sun card here and Justice card, they may put you on a pedestal, or they may like even like worship you or something like that. And I feel like this person will be very attracted to you physically. They will be very physically attractive. I mean, that's a given. I feel like pile one, you have a lot of high standards, or like you aren't somebody who isn't gonna settle. And it's just like, you know, like if you're gonna baby make for one person for the rest of your life, they should at least be physically attractive. At least that's my point of view from a Sagittarius rising. But, you know, you get the vibe. And I'm just picking up on that this is somebody who is very like intrigued by the occult. I feel like this is gonna be somebody who doesn't like actively do research on like astrology or like tarot or like spirituality or things like that. But I feel like there'll be somebody who's very intrigued by things like that, you know, and like different religions and like cultures. I feel like they might be somebody who really likes traveling, or somebody who very much appreciates other cultures. I feel like they'll be the type of person that's like always like, you know, like trying to learn new languages, or like, you know, travel a lot. I feel like they could be very interested in like airplanes and stuff like that, you know, like aviation. Somebody who's just like very into things like that. They could also be into cars and things like that. I feel like this is just somebody who has a lot of hobbies and is very fascinated by learning. I feel like this is going to be somebody who really likes learning. They just constantly have to be learning. But yeah. We also have the Strength card. Wow, only major arcana. So like I said, this person could be very physically strong. And this is somebody who, Leo, once again, is very prominent. I'm picking up on Leo 7th house because of the Justice card, and like Libra rules over the 7th house. So with a Leo 7th house, they could be in Aquarius rising. I feel like with the Aquarius theme now, like now that I brought it up, that definitely does apply. They could be somebody who's very stubborn and somebody who's very strong-willed. And I feel like there's somebody who very much likes things to be their way, you know? And I feel like they're a very decisive person. They're going to be somebody who's like, hey, do you want to go on a date? Like, we're going to go here to eat, and then we're going to go to this park, and then we're going to go to this store, and then we can also go to this mall if you want. I feel like they're going to be somebody who's very decisive. And if you know, with the Libra theme here, if one of you is very indecisive and the other is like very decisive, you know, somebody here, but this person can also struggle with control freaks tendencies. And I feel like this may be the kind of person that you butt heads with a lot because they are so strong-willed, but I feel like that will keep the relationship exciting and definitely like keep that spark going between you two, because I feel like this will be somebody very magnetic and somebody who's like they have a bite to them. I feel like both of you people are gonna have a bite to you, and because of that, it will definitely fuel a lot of fires in the relationship, if you know what I mean. I feel like the physical aspect of this marriage will be very enticing and very fulfilling and satisfying. And I also just feel like with the amount of major arcana that we've pulled, like the only cards we've pulled are major arcana. So this person, I feel like marrying them will be very grand. Like there will be a lot of grandeur, and I feel like this is somebody who does not like to half-ass things and does not like to do things like, oh, like, like, wow, like, let's go on. Like they're gonna be somebody who's like, we are going to reserve the nicest place. We are going to get married here in front of the lake, and there's going to be flowers and archways everywhere. And then honestly, I don't really know the process of getting married. I think there's like a reception, but whatever the case is, like basically what I'm trying to say is all stages of this event and onward will be very like extravagant, and I very much feel like this will extend to a lot of holidays. So if it's like Valentine's Day, like it is right now, or like when this video is going up, like they will take it very seriously. They will literally get you everything for Valentine's Day. There's somebody who is very prone to spoiling, and I just feel like there's somebody who really likes gift giving and shows a lot of affection through gift giving. And I feel like, if it's your birthday or if it's Christmas or if it's like Thanksgiving, they just like to go all out with the decorations, the gifts, and things like that. And I feel like with the Sun card here and Strength card, this makes me think of Leo, and Leo in like the 5th house are heavily associated with children. This could be somebody you have children with, like if you want kids. But I also just feel like this is going to be somebody with a very childlike and very playful energy once you get to know them. But I definitely do feel like the theme in this reading is that this energy will be kind of kept away or kind of protected, because at first they're going to come off as like very standoffish and like aggressive, but as you get to know them, they will reveal to be very childlike and very fun, and they will also get along with children. This person is going to be so attractive when you see them interact with kids, whether it be, like kids within your family or just random kids in the store or something like that. They could work with kids. They could be, I'm picking up on like a teacher or like a professor or something that just involves children. You know what I mean? And I don't really know too many, like they could be like a pediatrician, somebody like a doctor that works with kids. But regardless of the case, what I'm trying to convey is that they might work with kids, but they could also very much love children, and they might talk about having kids with you from time to time, honestly. And it's like, if this is somebody that sounds like you're already with or somebody you already know, they very much like want children. This person probably wants kids. And I feel like with the Strength card here, they're also going to be very strong-willed, like I said, but this person will also be very good at overcoming challenges and obstacles. And I feel like if you come to this person with a problem, they will always help you and always kind of have like a way of assisting you, or like helping you out. It seems as if though you can really go to this person with anything and they'll always have a solution or the best pointer to get you to like another location. It's like they're the kind of person that's like, oh, like I can't really help you, but I know somebody that can. And I feel like in that way, this person is just going to be very practical and very helpful. I sense like Virgo energy, honestly. They don't have to be a Virgo, but like what I'm trying to say is like, that practicality and putting meaning to everything you do and being very intentional with all of your moves. But I also feel like this person could be prone to overworking themselves. They could be somebody who works lots of hours, because I feel like this person might have expensive taste, or somebody who very much likes to buy the most finest things, They're like name brand, if they get paper towels, they get name brand. They don't get the store brand, they get the name brand. We all know which paper towel brand is the best. If you know, you know. If you don't, you don't. And when they get dish soap, they get the nicest dish soap. When they get chocolate, they get the nicest chocolates. When they're buying clothes, they like to get designer and things like that. They're just somebody of very expensive taste and somebody who works very hard to support these expensive tastes. But I also just feel like this is kind of the person that I feel like they've gone through something that caused them to be very hardworking. They could have been taught from a very young age to be very hardworking, or they could be somebody who just like experienced poverty and watched their parents or people around them struggle growing up, so they very much do not want to be like that. But regardless of the context, this is just somebody who very much likes expensive tastes, and they're going to take you to the nicest places. Like, if you're like, oh, let's just get fast food, they will look at you like you've grown 2 more heads and be like, no, we're going to this restaurant. You're gonna be like, excuse me, but this restaurant costs like $5 million, and it's literally just like a shrimp in a shot glass with like parsley in it. And they're gonna be like, okay, Anne, but that shrimp's gonna taste good. We're not going through a drive-through. You know, like, this person is gonna be very headstrong, and somebody who you may play argue with a lot. But I feel like this play argument will definitely feed into the sexual tension. I feel like this is somebody, like, once again, there's gonna be a lot of like friction, and I feel like this kind of makes me think of like the square aspect in astrology. There could be a lot of square aspects in like your synastry chart, or like your, like, you know, like combining your charts. But regardless of the case, I feel like a lot of the compatibility will come from the fact that you guys really respect each other, and really respect the fact that the other person can kind of like disagree, but without like the negative or like disrespectful attitude. Let's see what else here. We also have the High Priestess. Wow, pile 1. We literally got all major arcana. Me saying literally. What's the bottom of the deck? I'm very curious. We also have 7 of Wands. So yeah, this, once again, very headstrong person. Somebody who very much stands up for themselves. And with the High Priestess card here, this definitely refers to the fact that this is somebody with a very strong intuition. I feel like they'll do a very good job of reading you, or they will like always know if something's wrong with you, you know? Like, if you text them a specific way, they'll be like, hey, like, are you good? Like, what's going on? And you're like, nothing. And they'll like pry you until you tell them, oh, you know, like, I got yelled at work today, or like, you know, like, I just got told I'm just like, I don't know, there's a lot of things that I have to do, you know, things like that, you know. Like, basically what I'm trying to convey here is this person will be very good at reading you and recognizing when to stop. I feel like they'll also very much respect your boundaries, as they should, but you know, that's a very good quality of them. And somebody who will never argue with you when you try to set your foot down, you know. I feel like despite the fact that they could be a very loud person, or somebody who's just always talking, they will never like intentionally disrespect you, or like, you know, like be mean to you, or like, you know, like overstep boundaries or things like that. And I feel like with the 7 of Wands cards here, they definitely respect you. They're gonna really respect you, and maybe even look up to you or look to you a lot for inspiration. They're just gonna be somebody who is just very much like, they're just gonna be kind of like a gentleman, you know. They don't have to be a man, but you know, like that chivalrous energy, you know. And I just feel like they could also work with the law with the Justice card. Yeah, I don't know how I didn't mention that before. They could be somebody who, you know, it works in like a law firm, or is like a lawyer, or works with like legal matters. They could be a contractor, something of the sort, maybe even a realtor. But yeah, this is just gonna be somebody who is very, I don't know, like, I'm like thinking like this could literally be a dream come true kind of vibe. But this is going to be somebody that when you marry them, they will be going through a lot of like transformations and a lot of declutterings. You could marry this person while they're going through their Saturn return, or you're going through your Saturn return. Honestly, pile 1, it's like, you know, if you've already gone through your Saturn return, then like this will just be at a very transformative, or like, you know, like introspective era of their life. But I think to sum up this reading, that this will be somebody that really respects you, and somebody who is very careful to not overstep your boundaries. Somebody who is kind of like a lone wolf, and maybe even a little bit taboo and controversial in their methods of moving about life, but very prolific and very strong, and a little bit stubborn at times, and somebody who is very fair-minded, and maybe sometimes like stirring the pot just for the sake of balancing it out. And they could have very round features. That's all I'm picking up on in terms of the physical appearance. I kind of want to leave that up in the air and like leave that for you, because, you know, I just like don't want to give you information that I simply am not picking up on. But this will also be a very intuitive person, very emotional person, and somebody who very much like follows and kind of like follows their feelings and navigates this world through their emotions, and somebody who will also very much get along with kids and possibly will want kids with you, and somebody who is very intrigued by children and loves working with them. But yeah, that's all I'm picking up on for you, pile 1. If the reading resonated or you liked it, then like, comment, and subscribe. Other than that, thank you so much for watching. I love you. Bye. Hello, pile 2. If you chose the Ember and Aura Tarot, this is going to be your reading for who are you going to marry. So before we get into it, the tarot, I have some oracle cards for you. So let's just get right into it. Also, if you're watching this when I'm uploading it, happy Valentine's Day. If you don't have somebody to be your Valentine, mood, because I've spent pretty much my entire 20 years of my life. This will be the first Valentine's Day that I'm not spending alone. So if you're bitter and angry, I resonate. So for your oracle cards, we have Anxiety, the Crow, and Divine Androgyny. So right off the bat, pile 2, I like how I start every reading off right off the bat. That's so iconic. I was just thinking about that the other day. But anyways, obviously with this Anxiety card here, the person you marry, pile 2, may be somebody who is a little bit nervous, or I feel like because of the Crow card, it seemed as if though that they are going to be somebody who's very routine oriented and somebody who likes to run off of a very systematic routine. And I think they're going to be a very finicky person and somebody who very much likes to do things their own way. And I feel like with the Divine Androgyny, they may be very androgynous. I feel like they could be somebody who isn't that big on gender roles and somebody who isn't, they could go by like very like ambiguous pronouns, or like they are very like ambiguous either just appearance wise, sexually, like sexuality, all of these things, I just feel like they have a very mixed energy about them, and not like in a bad way, but in the sense that they aren't one or the other. Like they are kind of in the middle, But also in saying so, I feel like they are somebody who gets a little bit nervous when everything's too black and white. I do think that they like to find the gray in things, and I don't think that they are going to be somebody who likes to they like to nuance things, They like to make sure that things are digestible, and they could be somebody who's very good at teaching. But with the Anxiety card, I do feel as if though this could be somebody who's very nervous, or you could be a very nervous person. They will be very good at comforting you. But I feel like regardless of the case, that they are somebody who is a little bit nervous, as I said, but I also think that because of this, they know how to comfort you, and they are going to be somebody who is very nice and somebody who can kind of see right through you and see through other people with the Crow card. I feel like they're going to be somebody who's very good at seeing right through bad intent, and I feel like they are somebody who is just very good at reading people and getting a gauge on things. And with the Divine Androgyny, I just feel like there's somebody who is just they kind of play by their own rules, you know what I mean? And somebody who kind of likes to... It's interesting because they're a rule follower, but they seem to like interpreting these rules in their own manner, In the sense that they don't really... How do I say? They interpret things in their own way, They have a very special way of seeing everything around them. And I think that as a result, they are just a very intellectual person, and that they have a very unique perspective, especially since the Crow card is an air sign card. So they could have major air placements in their chart, or air will be a common theme within this marriage, because I feel like air signs are all kind of very non-committal. The air signs being Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, if you didn't know. And I'm sure we all know that, but just saying it, I'm not acting like you don't know or anything. I just wanted to throw it out there. But I feel like basically they may be somebody who is a little bit unconventional when it comes to things like marriage, and I feel like the way you marry this person will be very different, and I feel like the way they propose to you, or you propose to them, will be very unconventional and not something that is common in society. You could marry this person in foreign lands, but I also feel like this person also has an interest in foreign lands. I don't feel as if though they want to live where they live forever. And I feel like there's somebody who likes being on the go. And I feel like this is somebody who needs constant change. I'm sensing that this person could be like pretty tall and like of a leaner, more slim build. And they could have very dark features with the crow card. They could have very piercing eyes or like very like magical or like kind of like entrancing eyes. They could have very dark eyes, or if they don't, it's just like they have very big pupils and they're very like entrancing. I don't know how to describe it. Like they're just like, you could get lost in these eyes, y'all. Like, make sure you bring a map. And I just feel like this person is just like very like, they seemingly see right through your intentions, and I feel like this will really inspire a lot of the attraction at the beginning of the relationship. You know, regardless of whether or not you've already met this person, I feel like this person is just like when you marry them and like when you meet them and you decide on this commitment, they will be somebody who has gained a lot of wisdom through a lot of their hunches. I feel like they're the kind of person that's like, I feel like a lot of the things they say, they could be very prone to jinxing things, or their speech is very powerful. But yeah. I'm going to get into the tarot before I start repeating myself over and over, and it's like wasting time. I have not used this deck at all in a single video. Oh my god. It just like fell. Let me go get it. Okay. Well, that was a disaster. Anyways. This version just like fell for you, lol. I don't know. That was goofy. Anyways. Who will pile to marry? 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 Okay. What do we have here? First card we have is Six of Swords. I feel like the first thing that I felt with this card is that this will be somebody who will have gone through quite a few relationships before they got to you. Because I feel like with the air sign theme that we have going on here with the crow card, and then even more with the swords, and then the Six of Swords, you know, is about like moving on and transitions. I feel like this person will have been going through a lot of transitions, and I feel like I ultimately feel like there's still, right now as you're watching this, there's somebody who's still maturing, and there's still somebody who is kind of getting over things. They could already be in a relationship right now. I feel like before, by the time they meet you, they'll have a lot of stories to tell regarding past relationships, and I do think that will definitely play into the fact that they have a lot of wisdom on how to carry through with the relationship. They could have even been in a previous marriage, you know? But I feel like once again that plays through with the Divine Androgyny card too, because it's like, it's not that black and white. You know, there's somebody who's like, they don't believe that just because they've been in past relationships that they're any less capable of giving it their all, or, you know, they're not somebody to carry resentment or, you know, be bitter about something. I feel like with the Six of Swords, they're very good at, you know, letting things go and letting things stay in the past. And as a result, I feel like they'll help you feel very secure in the relationship and letting you know that they don't really, like, there's a reason that their exes are exes. You know what I'm saying, pile 2? And I also feel like this will apply to you, pile 2. I feel like by the time you marry this person, you both will have gone through a lot of transitions and gone through a lot of things in your life, if you will. And it could be a lot of transformations, and, you know, it's just like, I very much do think that, like, this relationship will evoke a little bit anxiety. I feel like the marriage will kind of happen after a little bit of doubt and anticipation kind of carries through. You know, it's like before y'all get married or before one or the other proposes, it'll just kind of be like, I almost wonder if this person will not even want to propose or like want like a super extravagant marriage. I feel like with the anxiety card, they are not somebody who likes too much attention on them. And with the crow card, they may also be very like tribe oriented, so they may stick very close to their family, they may stick very close to colleagues and friends or people that they really trust, because you know, when I think of crows, I always think of the fact that they're with other crows. But I just lost my train of thought. I was gonna say something, but anyways, moving on. I just feel like this person is just very ditzy and kind of like maybe even clumsy. I want to say, like, you know, like while I was shuffling the cards, I like dropped a card. I keep tripping over my words and I'm like zoning out a lot. I just feel like this person has like a very short attention span, but I also feel like they're very good at multitasking because their attention span is so short and they're so like they love being stimulated mentally. And I feel like if they are to slow down or if they are to kind of like take a second, they'll kind of like stress out a little bit or, you know, get freaked out a little bit. So I do want to say that pile 2, you may deal with somebody who is very much like a night owl or somebody who just loves always being on the go, loves working, loves always learning. This person could be a very good learner and somebody who's just an amazing student. And I feel like they'll also really love listening to you, pile 2. I feel like you could literally be like, oh my gosh, like you're just like talking about the weather and like, I don't know, like a cup of tea you had or like a cup of coffee. I remember when I like, they're just going to be so good at small talk and they're just going to be so good at like getting you into like a conversation and like being interesting, you know. And when I say small talk, I don't mean like they're going to stay in small talk the whole time and like just talk about the weather the whole time, but I just feel like they have this way of starting small talk and then like slowly dragging it into a more meaningful and engaging conversation. Because just now I literally just wanted to be like, do you like coffee or tea? And which, by the way, if I have to choose and like you have me at like, I don't know, I will choose coffee. Okay, I'm sorry y'all, but coffee is just my vibe. I remember growing up, I used to always be like, I'm a tea person because I wanted to be like classy and stuff because like tea culture is just so much better. But like I was like, no, I'm a coffee person through and through. But anyways, that's besides the point, pile 2. Sorry. I just want, like, you know what I mean? This person is just very expressive and somebody who likes getting their opinion out there. Opinion out there. Wow. Opinion out there. And they like really, they're just very expressive and they could also be very artistic. I feel like they could be somebody who is very much into the arts. You know, maybe they like making music, maybe they like drawing or painting. I feel like if you do end up moving into this person after marriage, they will be somebody who just really has a great eye for things. I feel like this person will be very good at giving you fashion advice too. You know, if you'll be like, hey, like, do you think this necklace looks good with this top and like this bracelet? And they'll be like, yeah, it looks great, but I just feel like it could go over the top if you change the bracelet to this. And then you like follow or like, you know, you listen to him and you're like, wow, that was actually really good advice, you know? There's somebody who's able to give you advice, but without like the judgmental or like bad attitude, you know, or like the overly critical attitude, if you know what I mean. What else do we have here? We also have Nine of Swords. That's so cool because I was actually thinking about the Nine of Swords because of the anxiety. This could be somebody. Okay. It's because obviously the Nine of Swords is literally about anxiety and it's literally referred to as like the nightmare card. And that's why, like, because I don't want to like read around it, you know, and act like as if it's not a bad card. But it's not a bad card, but I'm just saying, like, you know, like, it kind of has a negative connotation to it, especially when you see it in a reading like this. But I just feel like with the Nine of Swords, they have a very, like, their mind races a lot, and they may be quite an overthinker, and that may play into why they're so good at reading you, pile 2, in the sense that, like, I feel like they get ahead of themselves a lot, and I feel like they could also be somebody who stresses out a lot about their career and anything like that. They may also need a lot of reassurance before you guys get married. And I feel like this person kind of projects in the sense that like they are nervous about the relationship. So as a result, they want you to feel comfortable, not like projecting in a bad way, you know, it's like because they know what it feels like to be nervous or insecure in relationships. They don't want you to feel like that. So as a result, I feel like they'll be very good at reassuring you and taking care of you and really getting things out of you, because I feel like you may be somebody who is a little bit prone to like not talking or kind of bottling things up. And you know, whether or not that resonates, the point is that this person is going to be very good at like getting you to speak and getting you to be honest. And I feel like they also carry that with them in the sense that they themselves are very honest. And maybe sometimes the communication style that they like take on is a little bit blunt or a little bit like, you know, like, wow, you're taken aback by what they just said. But I feel like as a result, like, you'll never have to guess with this person. You'll never have to feel anxious with this person. You'll never have to ultimately think that this person's doing something behind your back or, you know, like being disloyal to you or participating in like a third party situation or anything like that. So I very much feel like you'll feel very secure in this relationship. And I feel like all these cards relating to like nervousness and like anxiety are talking about like what you're going to be avoiding in the marriage. And I feel like this anxiety with the Six of Swords is exactly where you're going to be moving on from, because perhaps both of you have been in relationships that would have been very stressful and very like annoying, you know, like deceiving, hurtful, painful, whatever the case may be. I feel like that's kind of what you guys are going to be leaving behind when you come into this union. And I just feel like once again it comes down to the fact that this person won't be so black and white about it. They won't like judge you outright for one way or the other. I feel like they're just gonna be really nice, you know, like they aren't a mean person. They aren't somebody who's gonna be overly critical of people. I feel like they're very good at like balancing situations and kind of like being like the middleman, and maybe they are constantly painted to be middleman or dragged into that position because they're so good at mediating and validating and reassuring people. So yeah, what else do we have here? We have 5 of Coins. This reading is really interesting, honestly. I also wanted to say with the 9 of Swords, it is the 9, and you know, it's still like 1 sword away from being the 10. So I feel like this person is just kind of like, how do I say? It'll be kind of like a last minute thing. I definitely feel like with the 5 of Coins too, it really does seem as if though before you guys come into this union, it'll be kind of stressful, and I feel like it'll be kind of, how do I say, nerve-wracking. But I also feel like with the 5 of Coins here, it's like a lot of these lack mentality or a lot of like the losses that you guys may have faced before getting married will be resolved, or it will be healed by the marriage. You know, it's like, I feel like this is somebody who's going to be making a lot of money, or somebody who has a lot of money, and they'll possibly lend you money and really help you financially. And I'm hearing that like they'll really support you in like your endeavors and what you want to do with yourself, you know, like whether it's like you want to go back to school or like you want to do like a more entrepreneurial route. I feel like they'll be very supportive of you. And I feel like, once again, the 5 of Coins is talking about the fact that this person will have suffered from a lot of losses and a lot of mishaps, especially financially. And I feel like with the 9 of Swords, they may have had people take advantage of them, especially at a financial level. What's the bottom of the deck, actually? Bottom of the deck is Wheel of Fortune. Yeah, this is all the fixed signs. This person could be in Aquarius. I feel like Aquarius is the most prominent one because we have air and then the fixed signs, but they could also be Leo, Scorpio, or Taurus. And I definitely think that that's relevant in the sense that like whether or not they are one of those signs or you're one of those signs, what I'm trying to say is I feel like that fixed energy is very much talking about the fact that this person is a very fixed person, and there's somebody who really stands by their own beliefs, and you know, they're very attached to them. And as a result, I feel like when changes happen, or you know, things happen to them, or something of their beliefs, or you know, like I don't know, their beliefs and like their, you know, point of views are questions or kind of like put on a pedestal, they may get nervous. And I feel like they don't react that well to change, honestly, pile 2. I feel like there's somebody who doesn't really like change. And because of that, they, like I said, will probably be a very routine oriented person and somebody who likes to kind of do things at their own pace. And as a result, I do think that this marriage and everything leading up to it will be very slow paced, and it will be definitely something that is a little bit careful, because I'm sensing that with the 6 of Swords and 5 of Coins, honestly 9 of Swords too, it just refers to the fact that, you know, like, as I said, this person will have gone through a lot of things before getting with you, and you yourself may have gone through a lot of things before coming into this relationship. And I definitely do feel like this person will be recovering from it when they meet you, and even so when they get married to you, because maybe they dealt with previous marriages that were not as fulfilling, or, you know, like, was like taking away from them, you know, like destroying their liberty or their finances, something like that. And I feel like once again, with the divine androgyny card, it's like they have like this very gray perspective, and I feel like maybe they have a little bit of a controversial perspective on marriage. Maybe with their point of view of marriage, they'll want to keep their last name, or they'll want to like, you know, like not really bond everything together. I feel like they'll very much like, because I'm sensing that with the Five of Coins, maybe they're afraid of like losing their liberty, losing money, losing something by getting married. You know, it may feel like to them that they're giving a part of themselves up. Or maybe you feel that way, Pile, too, about marriage. And I feel like these are people that like have kind of like an interesting point of view when it comes to marriage. You know, I feel like marriage itself has become a very nuanced topic, and maybe even a little bit like controversial, especially among like the newer generations. But I think that this person very much will carry that case. I feel like they could be somebody who will be a little bit younger than you, or they will be somebody who's, you know, acts pretty young or is very caught up and in tune with the younger generations. Let's see what else here. We also have Judgment. This marriage will take a lot of thinking from both ends. This is going to be somebody who loves thinking about things and is very much like, I also feel like they'll be their own worst critic. I feel like they'll be very hard on themselves, and they'll be somebody who is kind of always working themselves and kind of always striving for better. And I very much feel like this person is just kind of like, how do I say, like, just very critical and somebody who really thinks about things before they get into it. So I definitely do think that this marriage will be later down the line, despite the fact that the relationship may start like early, you know, it's like way later down the line. I feel like this will be considered. I feel like you guys will start acting like a married couple before you guys even like get married, you know? And I feel like with this androgyny card, I'm sensing that like they just have a very androgynous appearance, you know, like we all know what that is, but you know, it's like they could identify as a female and they have short hair, or they could identify as a man and they have like long hair, you know, like maybe they are a man and they paint their nails, or you know, they like dyeing their hair a lot, you know. I just feel like this is somebody who likes breaking gender norms, and somebody who likes to kind of play around the rules and likes to kind of take their own take on them. And they're very much somebody who is not a rule, they're a rule follower, but they kind of interpret the rules and bend them to their own will and kind of like decide how they're going to move forward that way. And then with the Judgment card and Wheel of Fortune being on the bottom of the deck, it definitely does seem as if though like this person will, I'm noticing that like on this card that there's like different seasons, like we have like winter, summer, spring, or like day and night. That's telling me that I feel like a lot of seasons will pass, so a long time before you marry this person, despite the fact that, like I said, you may have already met them. But also, this could be somebody you've known since childhood, or somebody you've known for a good chunk of your life. It definitely does seem as if though you know who this person is. And Pile 2, I want to say that like at the time of reading, like watching this, you may be very nervous about this person, or you may be nervous because maybe you want to marry this person, but you're like nervous about it, or like it's making you anxious. This could be like a soulmate or somebody you've known since childhood. And I just feel like this is like, once again, referring back to the fact that you probably have a very meaningful connection with this person. And I do think that like it'll be very like confusing and like anxiety inducing journey before you marry them. But I don't mean to say that to scare you or anything, you know. But what I'm trying to say is I feel like this person has tolerated or hurt you in the past. You know, they've tolerated her or they've hurt you. Or anything of the sorts, you know. They could have hurt other people along the way. But I just feel like this is definitely going to be one of those marriages that like there's a huge timeout before it starts back up again. And then it's going to be a very slow burn. Because, you know, with the air sign themes here, they are somebody who likes to take things slow probably. And somebody who very much likes to build things on a good foundation and on a good friendship. I feel like they're going to be somebody who likes to be like best friends of who they're with romantically. I feel like, you know, it's like they want to be able to burp in front of you and do all those things in front of you and like not feel embarrassed. You know, they don't want to be shy, and they don't want the relationship to feel like there's like boundaries, or like not boundaries, but like, you know, like all these crazy walls, or like all this like need for perfection, or like need to dismiss the fact that y'all are literally humans, you know. it's kind of hard to convey it, but I'm sure you know what I mean. You know, they want that comfort with you, and they're going to be somebody who likes being very comfortable with their spouse, and they're going to make you feel very comfortable. And yeah, I think I'm going to sum up this reading by saying that this is going to be somebody who's very routine oriented, and somebody who's kind of like rebellious but also very orderly at the same time. Somebody who will definitely have suffered from a lot of past relationships, or you could have suffered from past relationships. I think that leading up to this marriage, it'll be a lot of like rocky situations and a lot of like rocky relationships and, you know, like experiences before you guys come in union. And I do feel as if though there may be some codependency before like y'all come into union, but that's for some of you, not all of you. That's just what I'm picking up on. And I also feel like with the Judgment card and the Wheel of Fortune, this will definitely be a big change, and this person will bring a lot of change to your perspectives on traditional marriage and a lot of your perspectives on other things. I feel like this will just be somebody who has very interesting opinions and somebody who's very intellectual and very eloquent, especially like when it comes to their thoughts and feelings, in the sense that like they'll be very good at communicating to you and very good at like telling you what's going on. And I feel like they'll be a very comforting presence, and they'll be very good at consoling you when you're feeling down or like anxious or anything like that, even angry. So yeah, that's all I have for you, pile 2. If the reading resonated and you liked it, please like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. And you know, other than that, I love you so much. Bye. Hello, pile 3. If you chose the Rainbow Heart Tarot, this is going to be your reading. You can see that this deck has been well loved. It doesn't really show up on camera that well, but I remember when I was first getting into collecting tarot decks, I remember when I seen this one, I was shook. I was like, can I please just have that? I was like, I need that deck. And I remember I was like pretty new to buying tarot decks, and it was like, obviously the like indie decks are a little bit more expensive because they're small businesses. So when I seen that it was a little bit more expensive, I was like, girl, I was shocked. I didn't think I would be able to ever afford it, but here I am with her. So we love her. So yeah, this will be a reading for who will you be marrying, obviously. And if you're watching this while I'm uploading it, then happy Valentine's Day. But you know, if you don't have someone on Valentine's Day, mood, because I've spent like my whole life not having anyone on Valentine's Day. And I spent the entire day as if it was just another day. But anyways, I digress. So for your oracle cards, we have Contract, the Panther, and World Weaver. This card is so beautiful. I'm not gonna lie, y'all, like, I used to hate spiders, but the more I get into like spirituality and tarot and explore different perspectives on spiders, the more I'm like, wow, they're so cool. They're still terrifying, but don't get me wrong, they're pretty cool. Anyways, I digress again. So with the Panther card, I immediately want to say that this person that you're going to be marrying, pile 3, if you want to get married, of course, I feel like they're going to be somebody very aggressive, but in a good way. I feel like they'll be a little bit impulsive and very quick to do things their way. I'm thinking of like somebody who goes to like Target for like one thing and then like leaves with like 5 million things. And with the World Weaver card here, they're going to be somebody very patient. I don't know how to describe it. They're somebody who sows the seed and waits for it to grow. Like, they are the type of person that will check on that seed every single day and make sure it's good. And I feel like because as a result, this person's attention may be a little bit overwhelming or like smothering if you're like not into being smothered. But you know, if you are into that, this person's gonna give you loads of attention. Like, you're gonna be shook. You're gonna be shook at. But also with the Panther card, I also feel like this person will be very like peculiar about their growth. I very much feel like because of this impulsive energy I'm picking up on, they're not somebody who is one to be messed with, in the sense that they are very quick to let go of things, and they are very quick to cut something off if it is not serving them. If there is someone in their life that is just like treating them badly, they will only tolerate it for a very small amount of time before they're like, okay, I'm gone, bye guys. I feel like this person will have zero tolerance for things that they don't deserve, and also zero tolerance for things that you don't deserve, pile 3. I feel like they're going to be somebody that extends that to you, in the sense that like they're going to treat you very well, and they're not going to tolerate people disrespecting you. I feel like they're going to be very protective over you. And with the contract, I do think that this person is a little bit traditional when it comes to their perspective on marriage. I feel like they could have a very stubborn or like conservative vibe about them. And when I say conservative, I don't mean like literally they're like conservative. This person will be very peculiar, and they will be very, how do I say, like they're going to be big on chivalry, and they're going to be pretty big on like following like their jobs through. And I feel like this will not only be present in the relationship, in the sense that like they will consistently show up for you and do exactly what is expected of them, but I also feel like this will carry through at work. I feel like this person will be somebody who is very good at following contracts, or very good at following the rules. I feel like because of this, they're like not very big on, how do I say, disorder, or like chaos and things like that. I feel like they're going to be somebody who is just such a good rule follower, and somebody who isn't that big on like breaking the rules or being rebellious. And I feel like with this Panther card here, it just seems as if though like they kind of keep it black and white in that sense, not like overly black and white, but what I'm trying to say is they'll follow the rules based on how they resonate with them. And what I mean by that is they will follow the rules until it starts contradicting their own beliefs, or when they disagree with something, they will be like, no, I'm not here for it, bye. But if they agree with it, they're like, yeah, I can do this. It's just somebody who is very clean and very transparent about their beliefs. And I very much think that it's going to be somebody who's a very good rule follower until it starts like not resonating with them. Like for example, they'll do a job and they will work with the pay, they will work with the job description, but it's like the minute more is asked of them without a raise or something like that, they'll be like, nope, I'm done. Like either A, you raise my pay for the more amount of labor that you're assigning me, or B, I'm quitting. I just feel like this person has zero tolerance for situations that are demanding too much of them without like them being benefited for it, like without them gaining something from it, and I feel like in that sense they're a very powerful person, or they're somebody who very much seems very powerful and they have a lot of assets. I also think that with the World Weaver card, they are very, when you meet this person and when you marry them, they will definitely have kind of fabricated their own lifestyle, and they will really have breaking away from a lot of like social norms and things like that in order to get the life that they have. So they could be an entrepreneur, they could be somebody who is very high up positioned within like a corporate job or something like that, just in the sense that they are their own boss, or they're somebody who is the boss of other people. And I feel like with the contract card, it definitely shows through that like this person is very careful about contracts, and they're very careful about things like marriage. So I do think that this person will be very decisive when it comes to marrying you, pile 3. I feel like they're the kind of person that's like, if they don't have their mind made up right from the get-go, just assume it's a no. I'm seeing, but I'm sensing that this person could be indecisive, but it just seems kind of weird, because when it comes to like bigger things that involve a lot more longevity and time, they're very decisive. But when it comes to like little things like, oh, like where do you want to go, like where do you want to eat, like, oh, like what store do you want to go to, they'll be like, oh, I don't know, like we could go here, but we could also go here. I feel like they're like indecisive and decisive in the weirdest ways. I'm just sensing that this person is gonna be very strange. I don't know how to say it. Like I don't want to say like, oh, they're weird, not like in a bad way, but in the sense that they're very unconventional, and they are very like unique in their perspectives and their approach to problems and different crossroads. And with the Panther card, I also just think that they could also just really like cats. They could be a cat person. And I remember I read this thing that was like, if you don't like cats, it's probably because you have control freak issues. I don't know if that's true or not, but I personally really like cats, and I think that this person very much is focused on people's liberty with this contract card. And what I mean by that is I feel like they are very focused on people's freedom, and they don't like having their own freedom or personal space invaded. So in that sense, you can really expect them to be very respectful of you. And once again, it comes back to the fact that they like have this like kind of air around them, like this conservative air. there's no other word I can use for that word, because I feel like that word has kind of like a weird connotation to it, because nowadays, especially because of politics. But what I'm trying to convey here is that this person is very chivalrous and very stuck in their own ways of how like a marriage should be, a relationship should be, how a job should be, you know. It's like they have their own expectations of quite literally everything, and because of that they will follow through on it unless somebody can prove them wrong, but in a very appropriate way. And in that sense, I think that this person could be very stubborn and very strong-willed, maybe even a little bit hot-headed, so maybe they are very prone to arguing with people. But I don't think that this is the kind of person that will like be literally just like hot-headed, like causing fights and drama all the time, but rather somebody who is just like, you know, like if they disagree with something, they will very much speak up on it. You know what I mean, Pile 3? They won't like actively argue if you and cause drama. It's like, if, I don't know, if you come with this person and be like, grass is not green, they won't be like, actually, or they won't be like, you're stupid, like, I'm coming at you sideways now, like, let's fight, square up. They won't be like that. They'll be like, well, I disagree with you because it is green and here's why. You know, they're very good, they're very persuasive, and they're very good at getting people to do what they want them to do. So yeah, let's get into the tarot actually. I haven't used this deck in so long. I'm so excited. I also feel like with choosing the Rainbow Heart Tarot, this could be somebody who's very sweet, you know? I feel like I'm painting a very aggressive person, or somebody who's just like hot-headed and like mean, but I just feel like this person's very passionate. You know what I mean, Pile 3? They're just somebody who is very passionate and very much like they stick with what they believe in, you know, and because of that, like I can assure you that this person will not be fake, or somebody who is a backstabber, or somebody who's dishonest, or like coy or sneaky. I feel like this person will be very honest, and because of that, their affection will be very blunt and very like fiery and very passionate, you know. And like there will never be a moment where you're guessing how this person's feeling about you. Who will pile 3 marry? 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 Not gonna lie, I feel called to take this card. We have Knight of Pentacles. Yeah, this will be a very tenacious person. Somebody who's very goal-oriented. And this definitely goes back to the World Weaver card because, like I said, it's a very patient card. Because, you know, spiders are very patient. You know, they take time to make their webs. And they find a very good spot for their web. And, you know, when something happens, they just go back to the drawing board and they start it again, you know. And I feel like because of that, this person will be very patient and they'll be very slow moving. And I think that this will apply in both the relationship and other aspects of their life. I also think that with the World Weaver card, when I think of spiders, you know, like when we think of spiders, at least when I think of that, I immediately think of the venomous ones because I'm scared of them. I feel like this person will have a very potent energy about them in the sense that I feel like they'll be very good at making people feel dumb. That is just such like a specific message, but I just feel like spiders, like they're very protective, and they're somebody who, not somebody, but you know, they're creatures that, you know, when it comes down to it, they will use venom if they have it, you know. And it's like, if they don't have that, then they usually have very distinct patterns on them, you know. Just like spiders are like the perfect predator, and I feel like that's like not that's not who you're marrying, like, you know, not a predator, like let's God no. But what I'm trying to convey is that this person is very powerful and they're very strong and they're very good at building their own foundation and they're very good at taking time on said foundation. They could be an earth sign. I was picking up on a lot of Taurus energy just now because I feel like that's kind of the Taurus vibe. I feel like above all else with the Panther and Contract card, I know I've been saying this person is very passionate and very big on cutting things off, but I feel like that's because they don't want to get hurt and they are somebody who really does want to live in peace and harmony, and I feel like they really want to live comfortably. You know, Pile 3? They're just somebody who very much appreciates luxuries and somebody who appreciates more finer things or very good quality time. I think that a lot of their love language will come through is quality time with you, Pile 3, or just like little acts of consideration, like Virgo love. You know, it's like they won't like get you a huge gift or something unless you directly ask them to. But you know, they'll do a lot of little favors for you, like they'll clean your house or like You know, they'll clean your car for you. They'll get your car detailed or something for you. You know, they'll detail your car by themselves. You know, it's just somebody who shows their love language in little acts of kind gestures and like chivalry. You know, this will be somebody who is very like gentleman-like. They don't have to be a man. You know, they'll open the door for you. They'll be very nice to you, and they'll really treat you like the king, queen, or legend you are, pile 3. Honestly, like I feel like I sense a lot of royalty energy, because with the Knights card, I feel like all knights, like it's just kind of a thing in tarot, you know, like the knight, they want to prove themselves, and they want to, you know, get out there, and they want to just like stand up for themselves, you know, they want to be the knight in shining armor. So I very much feel like that's kind of the energy this person will embody, pile 3, and to a healthy degree, you know, because I feel like when people are like overly chivalrous or things like that, it can be very like sickening to some people and a little bit like overwhelming. But I very much feel like this person will do it to a healthy degree. You know, it won't be exhausting. It won't be like, oh my gosh, so annoying. And they'll always follow through with their word. I feel like with the contract card, they're going to be somebody who's very good at keeping their promises and staying by their word. They're not going to be an overly flaky person or like unreliable or disloyal, you know? It's just like they'll always come through for you, pile 3. I don't know, like this is just like such a sweet reading, you know? It's just one of those people that like you think they're like, oh, they're so aggressive and they're like mean, you know? I don't think that this will be somebody you expect to marry. They will come off as like very like hot-headed and like arrogant and like rude and things like that, and you're like looking at them the side eye, you're like pursing your lips like, girl, who is this? Get them out my face. You know, like close the door, like I'm leaving, like sweep your feet on the welcome mat on your way in, and then like leave immediately. I don't know, I was gonna say on the way out, but that makes no sense, you know, like why are you sweeping your feet on the welcome mat to leave? Like just leave. But you know, like you'll be like, I just feel like you'll be like, I'll show you the door, like get me out of here. But I also feel like this person, like with time, they'll really warm up to you, and they'll really show you that like behind this arrogant exterior comes a very soft and like a very like comfort seeking creature that's very sensitive and very receptive to other people's needs and emotions. And because of that, I feel like that's why they've adopted this kind of like aggressive like behavior. Not like aggressive like they're gonna like, you know what I mean, like destroy something. I almost said a more violent word, but you know, like they've adopted that kind of like persona because they don't want to tolerate people that are like mean to them or mean to the friends that they care about, you know, things like that. They're very protective is what I'm trying to say here. And I feel like they've developed this tough exterior because of some experiences that they've had in their life, you know. We also have 6 of Cups. Yes, absolutely. I also feel like this could be somebody you've known for a very long time, or somebody that you could have met from childhood. But like I said, I feel like this person could be somebody that you've known for a great long time. This is like soulmate energy. 6 of Cups, I remember when I was first learning tarot, like they'd always call it the soulmates card. And, you know, I feel like aside from that, you'll spend a lot of quality time with this person. This person will be very genuine, you know? Like, you know, these two figures are giving each other a flower pot, and I feel like that's just so like innocent, and I feel like that's very much like what the union with this person will be like, in the sense that like I almost said reunion. So this could be somebody that you've known for a while, or somebody you've known in a past life, and I just feel like they'll be very innocent and very childlike, and you know, this will definitely come out after you get their like tough exterior. They could have like a very sensitive moon sign, so like a water or like an earthy moon, but then kind of like a fire or earthy rising sign or sun sign. You know, they'll come off as very arrogant, like I said, very fiery, very hot-headed and stubborn, and like, oh my gosh, like get away from me, it's like so exhausting and annoying. But then when you get to know them, they're like really sweet and like speak in like mochi ice cream, and they're like ooh woo, you know. Like they're the kind of person that like will throw a complete fit whenever you approach them, and like, or like when you're not giving them your attention, like I'm sensing like, you know, like you call them or something, or like you're with them and you just like get on your phone, or you get like an email or something, and they're like, why aren't you paying attention to me? And you like look at them and be like, are you for real right now? Like this is the same person that had no problem cutting off all their friends and family, and now you're out here like upset because I'm checking my email. Like get on my face. But it'll also be very endearing, you know. This person will be very cute and endearing behind closed doors, and they'll be very like fluffy, you know what I mean, pile 3. They'll just be very sweet, and it's just like this very innocent and very endearing energy about them, you know? And it's just like, I don't know, I'm just like smiling right now. Like, this person's just so sweet, and it's just like, they really have adopted like this like exterior because they want to protect themselves and because they want to stand up for what they believe is right. I think that with the contract card, they probably are very much into social justices, and maybe they also get bullied a lot, but like not like, oh, like they're getting bullied and like cyber bullied, but like maybe people like poking fun at them, or maybe like people like treat them as a laughing stock or sometimes, and they like joke around with them. I just feel like they're kind of a clown, or they're somebody that is, they have a very good sense of humor, pile 3. You'll have very engaging conversations with them, and they'll be very like fun to be around, you know, like they'll be very like loud and like fun, and it's just like you'll never be in a moment with them where it's just like dead AF and you're just like sitting there like, girl, like I'm so bored, like can I just like go home and like dust my bookshelves? But no, this person will be very fun, and I feel like time with them will go by very fast. And with the contract card, once again, they can be very into social justices and equality and things like that, and they could be very outspoken in those topics because they are so passionate about it. Like, we are dealing with a very passionate person here, pile 3. What's that? Page of Swords. This could be somebody who is a little bit hesitant. Okay. This person is just so complex because I feel like when it comes to blatant injustices, they are very outspoken. But I feel like when it comes to their own injustices and things that they have faced, I feel like they're very good at defending people. But when it comes to themselves, they may be a little bit like a pushover or kind of shy, you know? Because at the Page of Swords, I sense is a very like innocent energy, or like kind of like, how do I say? Not innocent, but very hesitant. But I also think that with the Page of Swords, they could be somebody who's very mischievous and somebody who is very goofy and maybe prone to gossiping. But I think that we're all prone to gossiping, and I don't say that in like the sense that they're like blatantly talking smack about people. But you know, I feel like they're always caught up on the drama, and I feel like they're always caught up on things like that. They could be somebody who's very into like things online, you know, like social drama, and you know, they're always caught up on the news. They're always caught up on the latest like beauty guru drama and things like that, pile 3. There's somebody who's very updated and somebody who's very well informed, and because of that, it kind of feeds into the concept that they are not somebody who is boring and not somebody who runs out of things to talk about. I feel like their mind is like always kind of like going, they're kind of like a slow thinker, and they're not somebody who is very impulsive with their thoughts. I think that they're very careful when it comes to thinking things through. With the contract card and the Panther card, it's like once they come up to a conclusion, they won't hesitate to make that move. But coming up to that conclusion, it can take a little bit of time. And I think that it's just like somebody who, they'll think things through very thoroughly before they make a decision. But once that decision has been made, you had plenty of time to sway them in one or the other direction. So they will be like, nope, we're done. Like, bye. Like, once they decide, hey, you're mistreating me and I don't appreciate it and I've communicated to you several times, I'm done, bye. Or it's like they've been buying the same skincare for like 6 months now and they still haven't seen an improvement in their skin. They're like, bye, I'm throwing this in the trash and I'm going to try something new. Or, you know, they just like go to a restaurant like 2 or 3 times, and every time the service and food has been bad, they will forever be like, I'm never going to that restaurant ever again, bye. But yeah, let's see what else we have here. We also have the World card, and then let me see what's on the bottom of the deck. We also have King of Pentacles. Yes, with the World and King of Pentacles, this could be somebody who travels a lot for work, or somebody who works for, like, they could be somebody who works from home, or somebody who works very remotely, or has a lot of like businesses. But regardless of the case, I think that with the King of Pentacles, what I'm trying to say is this person is very well financially rooted. And with the Knight of Pentacles, I think it's interesting that the last card we see here is the King of Pentacles, but the first card we saw was the Knight of Pentacles. So that leads me to believe that this is a very tenacious person, like I said, and somebody who is very one foot in front of the other. And because of that, they are going to be somebody who is just like very like consistent and very like routine oriented, and somebody who is very good at slowly like gaining material wealth. And you know, like they're very slow. Like they'll start off like a janky car, but then slowly they'll like upgrade to like a luxury car. They'll start off like a studio apartment and then slowly make their way to buying a house, you know. This person could be very well built regardless of their gender. I feel like they could be somebody who is very like, they're very sturdy bodied. With the Taurus energy that I was picking up on, I feel like there's somebody who is like, they have a very strong body, and they could have brown hair, brown eyes, and they could also have a beard with this King of Pentacles here. You know, it's like, if they are a man, they could have a beard. But if they are a woman, they could have very long hair, and they could have like very beautiful hair, and they probably always wear their hair down, or they're always coming up with creative ideas to wear their hair. That's all I'm picking up on in terms of appearances. But with the World card here, you could meet this person, or you could marry them in a very like remote location, or you can marry them in foreign lands, or they're just somebody who really likes traveling, and somebody who likes going on trips, you know, whether that be to the store or to like a different country, you know. But yeah, I think I'm going to sum up this reading by saying this is a very fair-minded person, somebody who could have like a very like sturdy build, and they could be somebody with very dark or brown features, somebody who is very consistent and tenacious and likes to take things one step at a time, very slow moving, but once they've made their mind up, they have made their mind up, and it's very hard to change their mind. And somebody who comes off as very abrasive and like a little bit tough, and you're like tough guy exterior, whether or not they are a guy, but once you get to know them, they're very soft and like nurturing and very considerate, and a little bit even mischievous, and somebody who's very playful and kind of cunning, very smart. But yeah, that's all I'm picking up on for you, pile 3. If the reading resonated, please do like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. But other than that, I love you so much. Bye. Hello, pile 4. If you chose the Apparition Tarot, then this is going to be your reading for Who Will You Marry? And also, if you're watching this the day that I uploaded, then happy Valentine's Day. You know, honestly, even though like single, taken, whatever my status is of Valentine's Day, I still find it to be kind of a weird holiday. Like every time I'm like walking through a store and I see the Valentine's Day section, I like want to throw up regardless of what my status is. But anyways, we have 3 oracle cards here before we get into the tarot, so let's just jump right into it. For your oracle cards, we have 7th Chakra, Archangel Uriel, Ancestors, and Elk, the Elk. So right off the bat, pile 4, I feel like the person that you're going to marry has strong father energy. And with the Ancestors card, maybe you will meet this person through your father or through like a family member. But when I seen the Ancestors card, it was making me think of a few things, because I feel like this is somebody that like you're gonna know, like it's just gonna click with them. I feel like you guys could have known each other in a past life, because obviously like ain't nobody trying to marry in their bloodline. But I feel like this is somebody that you are very fond of, and somebody that like you could already start a family with. I feel like the person that you end up marrying will be somebody that you have kids with before you marry them. You know, that's if you want to have kids. And I feel like with the Elk card, it talks about like strong masculine and like fatherly energy. And I'm not saying that like you're gonna marry like a man. It's like, you know, whoever you marry, regardless of their identity, I feel like the point is that there will be a father in the relationship before, you know, y'all get married. And that's why I kind of felt called to say that you may meet somebody and you may have kids with them, establish a family with them, and all of that before you actually marry them. I feel like the actual marriage title is something that like this is what the reading will be focusing on. But, you know, I feel like you'll be married to this person long before y'all actually get married, you know what I mean? It's kind of hard to describe, but I'm sure you are picking up what I'm putting down here. And with the 7th Chakra card, I feel like this person will be very smart and somebody who's very cunning, but I feel like at times they'll be susceptible to being a little bit egotistical or a little bit cynical even. I feel like this person will have gone through a lot of things with their own family, and maybe you will have gone through with your things with your family. I also feel like this marriage will kind of reveal some secrets about both families involved. So do be mindful of that. For some of you, not all of you, obviously. But I also feel like with the Elk card, this is going to be somebody who's pretty patient and very observant. I feel like this is going to be somebody who is very much grounded and also focused on their diet. I feel like this person will be very not obsessed, but very much into their health, you know, in the sense that, like, you know, they may go to the gym, they may be very interested in their diets, they may take supplements or things like that. And I feel like they're just going to be someone who's very health oriented. And, you know, with the seventh chakra, obviously that's the crown chakra. So that makes me, you know, like think of crown, royalty, and once again plays back into that egotistical behavior. And not saying that they're going to be like full of themselves, but I do feel like they're going to be somebody who's very confident and somebody who's very sure of themselves and maybe finds a little bit of empowerment through their ancestors or through like their family and things like that. But it just seems as if though, like, this person is just going to be very smart and just radiate a lot of fatherly energy. This person could already have kids before you guys get married, you know. It doesn't have to be like you have kids with them. They could already have kids, or they could have nieces or nephews. They could have pets. Just something that kind of, you know, there's already somebody or something that's, you know, under their responsibility. So yeah. Let's get right into the tarot. That's really all I'm picking up for the oracle cards so far. I haven't used this deck in so long in one of my readings, but it has made an appearance on this channel before. Alright. Who will pile for Mary? Who will pile for Mary? Who will pile for Mary? I really don't know what to say. I'm just like sitting here. Just sitting here. Wow, Justin. Anyways. We have Two of Cups. Wow. Beautiful card. Two of Cups is like my favorite card out of all the tarot cards. Just saying. But obviously, I feel like this person could be a very earthy person. I'm sensing like earth and water energy, obviously with the cups and then the out card. Specifically Taurus and Pisces, and then Cancer and Virgo, and then, you know, Scorpio and Capricorn. But I feel like Taurus and Pisces are kind of at the forefront of this reading. And, you know, whether or not this person is somebody that like has those placements, I feel like what I'm trying to convey at the Two of Cups here is they're gonna be someone who's kind of lovey-dovey, honestly, somebody very romantic, and somebody who is just like very concerned about union. I see two hands holding here, so they could be someone who really likes holding hands or really likes physical touch. They would probably be very physically beautiful, especially with the aforementioned like health habits I was talking about just now. And I feel like they're going to be someone who, like, you just connect with them on such a deep level that with the Ancestors card, it literally feels like y'all have known each other in a past life. Or, like, you know, it's like you just, it feels like family because of, like, how much you, like, know them, you know? Or, like, how comfortable you are with them, you know? Not that they are family, you know? And honestly, like, you know, like, if y'all are into marrying within your bloodline, then that's really none of my business. But, you know, like, for the majority of us, I'm sure that, like, we're like not trying to do that. But with the Two of Cups here, it just feels like this is like soulmate energy, you know. I said this in another pile, but it's like I feel like pile 4, you're the kind of person that doesn't want to marry until you're certain you found like the absolute one. And I feel like this reading is talking about that absolute one, obviously, because like you wouldn't marry if it was like not the one. But this person is going to be somebody very calm and collected and very peace loving. You know, they're not going to be somebody who likes stirring the pot that much, and maybe sometimes they'll be susceptible to being kind of treated like a pushover or something, or somebody who kind of gets walked on at times because this person is trying to maintain the peace so much and like maintaining balance. And I feel like at times like it'll be somebody who's very slow to anger, but when they do get angry, they will literally like destroy everything in their path and cause like loud explosions across the globe. You know, not to be dramatic, but you know, this is someone who's very patient and very slow to anger, but once they do get angry, they're angry. You know, this person is, I feel like they're gonna be a little bit on the fair side. And I feel like they're going to be somebody who has very nice hands. They could have Gemini in their chart because Gemini rules the hands. But I'm sensing that this person has very nice hands. And I just feel like I also see a butterfly here. So it just definitely seems as if though this person will come into your life after like a change in your life, or I feel like this person will introduce a lot of change to your life before you guys get married. And I also see candles in here, which represents like wands in this deck. And I just feel like this the person you marry is like this marriage is gonna be full of passion and love, like more so than the other piles. And I'm not saying the other piles won't marry someone that they love, but I just feel like you're gonna marry somebody who's very much a romantic, a hopeless romantic. They could read romance novels, they could be somebody that comes off as very tough, and maybe with this father energy that I keep picking up on here, they could be very fatherly, like towards you. They don't even have to have kids, as in like maybe they're always asking, have you ate, have you done this, are you doing okay? And if you're into that, then you're attracting that. But if you're like not into that, then like leave that. But I feel like for a vast majority of you, like that's the kind of partner that you're going to be marrying, or somebody that you will marry. I just feel like, like they'll always look out for you, like if you ask them to pick you up from someone, they'll be very early. If you need something from them, they'll give it to you. They'll happily supply, and vice versa, like obviously it'll be mutual, but it's just like this person will go the extra mile for you, pile 4, and they're very much somebody who is very concerned about taking care of you. And I feel like maybe at times they'll overburden themselves with other people's problems. I feel like this person will be very interested in other people's issues and things like that, because this person is so dead set on peace and like serenity and things like that, to a point where they'll kind of burden themselves to hopefully help others in need. But I feel like because of that, they'll kind of emotionally exhaust themselves at times, and maybe this will play into the fact that they are a little bit calm, and they probably won't reveal on a constant basis how they're feeling. And maybe in that sense they'll be kind of like hard to read, or a little bit mysterious, but not in like a bad like OMG, like I don't know what you're thinking, I'm kind of paranoid kind of way. But it's just like it's clear that they're feeling some type of way, but they're just like not saying anything, and it's like excuse me. And I feel like this person will just be very emotionally considerate. They'll constantly ask about your well-being and constantly be worrying about how to make things better. And I feel like they'll definitely be somebody who, I feel like if they get upset with anybody, instead of like outwardly blowing up, they'll kind of become passive aggressive, or like give the silent treatment. Honestly, I just feel like there's somebody who is so like dead set on not blowing up and like not causing like blatant drama. But like I said, it's just like when they do blow up, they blow up. They go like Joker mode. And then with the 5 of Wands, with the 5 of Wands, I definitely do feel as if though like this person will be very hot-headed and maybe a little bit indecisive, and hot-headed in a specific way, like not saying that they're like, the best way to describe it is somebody who's hot-headed but also hates conflict, and I feel like this person will just be very passionate and very like romantic with things. Not in like, oh, like they're romantic in like, like in the relationship, but I just feel like in general, they're very charming, they're very easy to get along with, and they're very much somebody who is able to bring a lot of like spice to any situation, whether that be like spicy or like, like make things more interesting, like what I'm trying to say is like they could turn like the most boringest of things like into something beautiful. They have like this artistic aspect about them. They could wear glasses, and what I'm trying to say is, like they're very artsy beautiful. They could have a very distinct fashion taste. They could have a very like distinct taste in foods and anything Venusian related. They could be a Libra, a Taurus. I'm picking up a lot of Taurus energy. A lot of Taurus energy has been coming through in all of these readings, honestly, but especially in this reading. And with the 5 of Wands, I just feel like they're also going to be somebody who's kind of at a standstill at times, or somebody who's a little bit indecisive. I feel like they're going to be somebody who is just like kind of at odds with themselves, and I feel like they'll be like very susceptible to overthinking, getting stuck in their head. Hence the 5 of Wands, like 5 of Wands is about conflict, change, and like, at crossroads when it comes to passion. So I feel like that person will kind of feel that in their head. And because of that, I feel like maybe the marriage itself, like actually getting married, like I feel like you guys will be together for a while, but I feel like the marriage itself will definitely be like one that brings up some controversy, or one that kind of like, sparks some conversation between the two of you two. I feel like this person will have a lot of strong, seemingly immovable opinions on marriage and different things. And in that sense, I do feel like this person could be quite stubborn and somebody who is a little bit like evasive at times, you know? I feel like this person will be kind of like somebody who's kind of like level-headed and seemingly kind of like a pushover when you talk to them, but when you like find out about how they actually think and behave, like they turn out to be like somebody who's very stubborn and very unwilling. And this person could also be kind of like a sucker for a sob story, or somebody who likes daydreaming a lot and maybe gets in their head a lot. But I just feel like this person is, they have trouble kind of expressing their feelings or kind of getting their feelings across. And I feel like they have a little bit of like not a problem, but like they have trouble getting it out, is what I'm trying to say. Like, I don't know, like even as I'm trying to read, like I'm noticing like it's kind of hard to express to you like what this person's gonna be like. But that's not because like I don't know, but it's just like this feeling of like feeling something but not knowing how to put it into words. And I definitely do feel as if though that's how this person is gonna be, you know. So I feel like because of that, a lot of their love language will come through in acts of service or like quality time, you know, like nice things, physical touch, really kind gestures, you know. I feel like this person will have a little bit of trouble like forwardly and verbally declaring their love and their commitment and like, you know, their feelings for you, pile four. And so I feel like it'll just translate into like a massive flow and like considerate gestures and like romantic gestures, you know. And I also feel like this person, like I said, is very stubborn and in their own way, because I think I've been picking up on stubbornness in all of the other piles, but this one's kind of like different in the sense that like it seems as if though they really do just want to take things at their own pace and that they really don't want to deal with being rushed or making a decision that they haven't made up on yet. I feel like they like to be very thorough in that sense. They don't like to just do things just for the sake of doing things. They like to find meaning in everything that they do, and they like moving along with purpose in their life. We also have the Tower. Obviously the Tower is like about like big changes and things like that, and it can be pretty uncomfortable. But I feel like when you marry this person, I feel like with the Five of Wands and the Tower card, it'll be kind of difficult because I feel as if though this person will have dealt with a lot of crazy changes before they marry you, or you could deal with some crazy changes before they marry you, or this marriage will solicit crazy changes. But I'm also sensing that this Tower card and Five of Wands card here, for some of you, you could meet this person while you're in a relationship or you're like not really into relationships. And I say that because with the Five of Wands, obviously with the indecision and the Tower card, I feel like this person's gonna sweep you off your feet, you know? Like, the Tower card talks about big changes, and not all changes are bad, you know, obviously. And I feel like this person will solicit like a lot of change in your life and a lot of change in your perspectives. And honestly, I almost wonder if this person will completely shift your perspective on yourself, in the sense that they'll be so sweet to you to a point where you'll be like, oh my god, I literally never thought I would ever get into a relationship this amazing, you know? I feel like this person's just gonna really sweep you off your feet with like the dates, the romantic gestures, you know? And like I'm picking up on like, you know, like if you're tired of always making the first move or being decisive or making the first gesture, you know, things like that, I feel like this person will really sweep you off your feet by being the one that's kind of like being more the pursuer, or somebody who, you know, initiates things and, you know, like is romantic and sweet, you know, without like it being asked of them, and like not in like a overly cliche way either, because I feel like maybe you're not the kind of person that's very much into cliche things, or maybe you are, but you know, that's just like for some of you, not all of you. I just want to acknowledge that, because like whether or not like you're into cliches or like corny stuff, this person will be pretty cliche and kind of corny. And I feel like it'll be in a very endearing and a very original way, because with the Tower card, I feel like despite the fact that you may have seen these kind of gestures before, the way they do them and the way they kind of like act upon them and, you know, carry them out will be very surprising, and very much will be something that you will not have been expecting, especially from a person like this. You know, like I feel like this person will come off as like very like quiet, tough guy exterior, but once you got you guys get to know them, it'll be very surprising. It's like, wow, like I didn't expect a guy like this to buy me flowers or get me a box of chocolates or like buy me my favorite game. I didn't even know he was paying attention, or if she was paying attention, or if they were paying attention. Whatever you're interested in, whatever you identify with, and whatever they identify with. Just apply it how it resonates. But what I'm trying to just convey, like, wow, like I would have never expected this. Like, you as Pile 4 to be like, wow, I wasn't thinking that this person would be so nice to me, or somebody that's into me. It's I'm sensing like maybe y'all match on a dating app and it's like, wow, I never thought this guy would be into me, or this person would be into me. Or you meet this person in public and they slide you their phone number and you're like, wow, like I wasn't expecting that. The point is, with the Tower card here, it'll be somebody who's very unsuspecting and somebody that you're so into that you would not have expected them to be into you back, and that kind of snowballs into the marriage. Last card here, we also have Six of Swords. I think Pile 1 got this card too. And then what's on the bottom of the deck? We have the Hierophant. Yes, with the Taurus energy. Oh my gosh. But with the Six of Swords, I definitely do feel as if though, like, combined with the Five of Wands, I do think that this marriage will kind of like, you'll be letting go of a lot of things leading up to it, like letting go of a lot of things that don't really serve you. I feel like for a good majority of you, Pile 4, like, I think that a good portion of you, either you or this person, will both have gone through plenty of situations or relationships or changes before you guys come into this union here. And with the Hierophant card, you could meet them at like work or meet them at a school or something like that. Ooh, I also see the Fool card here. Beautiful. But with the Hierophant card here, I'm just saying you can meet them through something more community based, like, you join a club or something, you join like a friend group on like social media or something, or you meet through like your dad, maybe your dad takes you out somewhere, or maybe like, I'm just saying like you could meet this person through like another person, or meet them through like a very community based type of situation. And I feel like that's what's going to kind of take off the foundation of this relationship, because like you will have something that you're related to, like you're in the same class, you're in the same job, like you will start with something that you both can relate with. And I feel like with the Six of Swords here, it definitely speaks as if though like both of you will have gone through a lot of changes in your lives before you guys meet each other, before you guys marry. And I feel like this relationship will also really change you both. Like, it will really like change your perspectives on marriage. It will really change your perspectives on how relationships should be, how you should be treated, how you should feel in a relationship. And it'll just literally be like this like epiphany of like, wow, like I did not know like I could find someone that treats me this well, and somebody that I just click with, and somebody that we just agree with everything. It'll literally just be like a dream come true kind of person, Pile 4. And it's like, not to even sit here and hype you up, but it's just like, I can't sit here and act like the Two of Cups and like the Tower card doesn't signify somebody that you connect with so much that it's just like it literally rocks your world and burns down literally everything that you thought consisted of like a healthy marriage or relationship. And I think I'm just gonna sum up this reading by saying that like this will be somebody who really likes taking care of you and like fathering you, if you will, if you're into that, and somebody who's very intelligent and somebody who has a lot of wisdom. This could be somebody that will be older than you, and it will be somebody that like you connect with so well that it literally feels like you've known each other before, or it's just like they're like family. It's like, or they could very well get along with your family. And I feel like that'll definitely be something that really appeals to you, Pile 4, because I feel like you're the kind of person that's like, if you don't get along with my family, I'm not with it, I'm gone, like my Uber's here, I gotta go. But yeah, this person will also treat you so well that it'll literally just like burn down everything that you thought, like all of your misconceptions about marriage and like relationships. And then with the Six of Swords, and like it just seems as if though this person or you or both of you together will go through a lot of changes together, or have gone through a lot of changes prior to this union. So yeah, that's all I have for you, Pile 4. That's all I'm picking up on. So if the reading resonated and you liked it, please like, comment, and subscribe. And other than that, thank you so much for watching. I love you. Bye.